Okay, I see your screen.
Okay, so no, I'm gonna use the file that we put in there earlier, which was this one right here. It's just two users that are already in there, and it's to update their information.
Okay.
So in what I've been doing, on the other spreadsheets, I have a email address and a path and a username a column. So I would just point the username. So right now I'm just gonna do email address because it's the same thing. Update existing, send me user email, and then on this one I'm gonna do employee number because so you won't have any duplicates in there.
Okay, so let's
right
let's just pause for a moment if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at the top section. The LMS username is going to use the email address as the what the user will use as their username or login ID. So and then matching spreadsheet to LMS. I did look at your import and your users. It does have their email address as their username. So I would recommend mapping an email to username. Now, what I'm looking at on the bottom where you match your rows, it has the source data preview. The first column under email address, there hasn't been a selection made. So you would want to select email. Yeah, and that's going to define what the user's email is going to be. Do you know if you did that the first time?
I did not. I did not. I did it on one of them, and it didn't seem to do anything, so I stopped doing it because I figured that that this top one right here was already letting it know there was an email address. But from what it sounds like, you're saying that was just telling it that, and I might not even have done it on one of them actually. But I just assumed that because it said email address here, that it was already going to do it. But I didn't change this drop down right here.
Yeah, you have to select it in the drop down for it to map that information to that field. And just as a side note, I don't use the send new user email option in this. I use the send email option from the user page. So if you're adding, for example, if you're going to be adding groups of users, running several groups, then there is a way from the user page where you can send an email out to all the users that have been added and just send them out at one time. But that's your prerogative, how you want to do that. I'm just sharing my preference.
And I think that's what Enrique, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what you were intending to do. But there was no email address, correct? That you could tap into.
Correct. So let me, I'm going to go ahead and, and try doing this right here, because if it updates it, then we'll know that that's what it, yeah, so.
And then I should get a copy of these emails.
So that did do it.
Okay, that was it.
That was it then. So then, no, as far as so that's what I need to do then, actually, then.
Right.
Is there a way that I can update those? Like, if I leave the password blank, can I update just the email address on all of them?
I was thinking about that earlier. If there's a way to update all of your users, if you, for example, if you uploaded them to one department, because really, I think it would be quicker if you just put all of your users in one spreadsheet and uploaded them using that same process with one go, and then just assigning their departments after that. So for example, if you select more than one user on the left there, just randomly, and then you can click the change, click the change department button.
Oh, okay.
And then that will let you specify what department they're in.
Okay.
That'll probably be a little bit quicker if you, so for example, if you loaded all your users, if you
To
ran
that.
one import correcting their email address, then this
Mhm.
would probably be a lot quicker for you than doing individual imports for each department.
Okay, gotcha. But then no. So that's one thing that I did have a question on was the departments, like for each of these right here, the LADWP, EMTC, 20 Alpha, 20 Bravo, 20 Charlie. What that is it's a class of trainees. Is that should I be making that a department or a group?
It is your preference.
Okay.
So a group is going to just be a group of trainees. A department of trainees will allow you to define administrators for those departments. So there can be an administrator for a department, but there can't be an administrator for a group. So if you wanted an administrator for each department, or if you had an administrator based upon hierarchy, I know we discussed this a little bit earlier. Actually, it was sent in the email how you wanted sort of a hierarchy with the admin rights. So just something to think about.
Okay.
But you can also allow or set your enrollment permissions for training based upon the departments. And you can also do that on a hierarchy as well, because I see those are nested within a higher department. So
right.
Yeah, it looks like you've thought this through. So, and you can always change it later if you feel like it might be too complicated.
No. I want to keep it separated like that, and each of the classes does have a training supervisor, so they would be like the administrator for that, but where they can, that way they could be the ones taking care of those specific trainees, which would
They can run the
make
report.
sense for what we do, or how we do it.
I'm sorry, was there a question?
No, I just mentioned
No.
he was talking about the other thing that they could do that he's going to want them to do is their ability to run reports when he needs them.
Right. Yeah, so we can, so any administrator, are you setting everyone up as department administrator? Or all the administrators, are they department administrators?
No, so what I did right now was, let me see. I put them under this one, the instructor enrolling one, which is pretty much these are all instructors. So I just put them under there, and like their like his is the instructor for only that one right there, right?
Right.
Any subgroup of that of EMTC.
Mm-hmm.
So then I could also make them into a administrator for just each class at that point. Like if I were to do that, right? Like if I were to, or no, it would give him the, like if I did give him that and then actually give him like this guy is 20B, he would be a department administrator for only that class, right?
Well, he's a department administrator is going to be one of the higher privileged roles in the system.
Right, which I'm not getting into. All I want to do is really give him the instructor enrolling. And then the department administrator, like for the EMTC would be me.
So are you confident that the instructor enrolling has all of the rights that you would like?
No, I'm not. I haven't looked into that too much yet.
Okay.
But it's not something that's that critical for us right now. No, down the road, depending on how much we use it, it may be something that I'll have to look into some more. But there's like custom administrator levels that I could do, right? Like if
yeah. So what I would like to do, what I would like to do is determine what functions you would like your administrators to have or what responsibilities they would have in the system. And I would like to help in setting that up.
Oh, okay.
Dusty, I have a question on that because of what you just brought up on the instructor enrolling. We've been creating or adding individuals to an administrative title because we want them to have certain functions. But is this instructor enrolling? Can we modify that to where they can have that access that we want them to have without having the title of administrator?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna.
I would prefer that you not edit any roles within the system because they can be shared, even though you aren't going to see the other departments that are using those roles. There's a chance they could be shared in the system.
Correct.
And the instructor role is usually associated with instructor-led training. That's the reason why I asked if he was familiar with the rights for that specific role. So yeah, if you click on permission overview, it'll give us a look.
Breakdown of.
Yeah, so that doesn't have a lot of rights when you compare that to something like the department administrator. Instructor, they're pretty much only going to be looking at who's going to be attending their course and marking people who attended their course as complete.
Okay. And see, like that's something that we would know, like that type of functionality, you know, in the long run, the way I see it, we would be able to use something like that. Right now, we're using this to, you know, supplement some of the classroom training that we do, but you know, all of our training is actually instructor-led training, which I haven't even gotten into, you know, how that works or anything. But,
yeah,
but it's still going to be like that.
Instructor-led training is pretty simple to use in here, but the instructor permission is something that you would want to give to someone who is not an administrator in the system. My recommendation would be that if you want to, probably your answer would be setting up the department administrator role, or something that removes the edit features, maybe a department manager, and then controlling those rights with the if you don't mind, can you close that permission overview window? And then selecting this with your hierarchy, the user management hierarchy, and this with the role, which is going to define who they have access to. And so that's going to answer the problem of them not being able to view all the users or in the system, any users outside of their department. Because you can set the drop down where it says and sub-departments of, you can set that to is only.
Oh, okay.
So,
so there are
if you
things
change that to is only, it's also going to show you how many users they're going to have access to. So if you see down below, it says the number changed to 14, whereas before it was 220 something.
Right. Okay. I have to think about it a little bit on that one then, because 223 is the amount of people that are in the EMTC group, which includes all the instructors. I think I know what I need to do there. I just need to, you know, think about the hierarchy on ours for our program specifically, how I want it to be done, because what I would want eventually is where an instructor, any instructor could enroll any of the trainees into their classes, but they can't modify anything else, and they couldn't affect each other as far as instructors go.
Right. Yeah, the instructors is, I just want to stress that's going to be specific to instructor-led training. So, and
I use instructors not in the sense of the role, but as instructors, that we have for our trainees or for our classes. They're all supervisors, seniors. So, but I would want them to I do want them to be able to impact that many users, minus the actual supervisors, basically. I don't want the supervisors to be able to manage each other.
Right. Yeah. So that's going to be the hierarchy where that would come into play. Do you want to set up another role that is a little bit more limited?
Yeah, let's try that.
Yeah. So if you click on yeah, go ahead and select whatever you want there.
Well, that's the only choices I get, though.
Yeah. So click your user icon on the left, and we'll go back to roles.
Oh, gotcha. And add another role here.
Actually, we're going to, sorry, cancel out of that. Select the department administrator role, and then click duplicate. And then under each one of those options, you want to uncheck modify and delete, where it says online course, course bundle, curricula.
Okay.
Actually, I don't need to.
And then we scroll down a little bit where it says competencies. You're probably not going to be using any competencies. You're not going to be using course uploads.
What is course uploads?
Course uploads was going to allow you to build a course.
Okay.
And yeah, users, we don't want them to set any administration. We can do view or modify roles. They don't need to be able to see roles. Department, we want them to be able to view departments and view groups. And you can turn off enrollment keys. And you can turn all those off, the message templates. And all the reports, you can leave those on.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and then we'll name this, let's call this department manager instead of department administrator. And then, yeah, click save. And so now this role is a bit more restricted. It's not going to allow the user to edit any of the training. It's just, they should be able to assign training and run reports.
Okay. Then I would go to
And there is an easy way to have all your administrators pull up. If you want, I can help you with that.
like no, but oh yeah, go ahead, please.
So if you go to users,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and click on that. And then on this report, you know how to add a column?
No.
Okay, see the little hamburger menu to the left of the last name?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, click that. This is going to show you which columns can be displayed in this report. So if you scroll down to is admin and select that, and then click the little filter icon. Yeah, click that, and then apply filter for yes. And now this is going to show all of your admins.
Now see, right now, right now, because the way Enrique was set up as an administrator, he sees everybody in the department. In reality, he should just be seeing what's under the EMTC, correct?
Yeah, so we need to think about the way the administrators are set up in the system, and I can make those changes for you.
Okay. Yeah, maybe after we're
So-
done with Enrique, we could go through for the JSTI and
Okay.
Well, you don't want me to be able to modify everything?
Well, like you said, Enrique, when you brought that up, you know, it's true. We should have the hierarchy should be set so no mistake is made, right?
No, I'm just kidding around. It's absolutely true. I mean, I don't need that access, and I don't want to have that access when it's not, it's actually getting used a lot more for, for different things stuff. I don't want to have that access,
Right.
and mainly I don't want somebody else to have that same access. I mean, we talked about it. It's like, I have one employee that has that same access, and it's like, no, why should he have that access? He shouldn't have that. So, my next question would be then. How I have this, these set up is, the EMTC is a child of LEWP, and each of the classes is a child of the EMTC. I want to have administrators that, or that, I guess a department manager role, that's what it would be, right? That can control all of these right here,
Yes,
but not have
exactly.
control over this one. And I should be the only one that has control over everything on this one right here.
Yeah, so yeah, if you go back, if you select a user that you'd want to make manager for EMTC,
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Eddie. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm not too. Yeah. All right.
and then so this says and sub-departments. So this person's going to be able to be the manager for all departments under EMTC as well as EMTC. So if you wanted them to only be able to be the admin for one specific department, then under the drop down that says and subdepartments of, you would change that to is only. But this user is not going to be able to see anything above EMTC. So
But that's okay.
So right now, if you look at these roles match 14 users.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want him to be able to have access to all of the departments within EMTC, then you need to change is only to and subdepartments of.
Okay. It almost seems like if I need to add another in between department in there, where something where EMTC is my instructors. Think about this one, I guess. Not to think about what I'm thinking here, because it just right now he would have like Craig would have access to modify or to enroll and do whatever, be the department manager for all the classes, but also for the other department managers.
Now you can add other roles. You can click the add department button.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah, go ahead and leave that the way it is.
If I do. If I just do that for every class, this will work. This will work right here.
Okay.
In the sense that so I'm giving him access to each one of the classes, but not to the EMTC, which includes the instructors basically,
Right.
or the supervisors. Okay. Okay, I will continue with that. And then there was the whole, I'm just gonna keep on, I'm gonna go ahead and do that afterwards with all of them. Then there was the whole thing of the leading zeros thing. I'm not sure, no, I think Jeff mentioned it to you. And I just go to this guy because I know this guy's a leading zero. And it might not be an issue at all, but I'm just, but here, our employee number is 6 digits. Is that, does that cause any conflict within the system? Because there was one employee, and I can't remember who it was, it had told me that it was going to be updating somebody, but it wasn't the same employee number. It's just that new employee number contained that employee number.
Well,
So that
yeah, I wouldn't update based upon employee number. I would update based upon email address because.
Gotcha. Those are one unique, I guess.
Yeah, the email address is going to be unique. The employee number, if it's a 4-digit or 6-digit or however many digits, it can be used more than once in the system. There's over 3,000 users in the system total. So the email address is going to be unique. And yeah, if you create something in a spreadsheet, then you save it as a CSV file, some of the formatting can be lost. And if you had zeros in front of the employee number, so if
that was one of the things that got lost
as a text field, it might create it into a number field. So you might have to go back and proof your data. For example, if you run the user import again and you save it as a CSV file, you can make your corrections to the employee numbers and they will update whenever you re-import.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I found with the no, that's a completely separate thing. But with the CSV files, that's one of the formatting that get lost. It's the leading zeros. That formatting gets no, it doesn't let you save it like that. So that's
yeah,
why
you just have to enter it back in as like a text field.
So I'm just I guess my only question now is in the whole when I update them, do I just leave the do I just delete the password column?
No, you'll have to leave the password because that is a required field whenever you import.
Even if I'm updating?
If it's updating, honestly, I have not tried that. It might be something where you run it on a couple of users and see if it's going to change their password. If it's going to update information, my guess is it would not change their password.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try it.
Dusty, I had a question on that as well. Like when you first enroll an employee, there is a section that asks for a password to be inputted. Do you have to put in a password? Because it seems like if you keep reading down below, there's like an automatic password that gets sent to them.
Yes, there is an automatic password that gets sent. It's actually a login string that takes them to the set password page whenever they click on that link, but that link is only good for 7 days.
Correct.
So there would be a password that would need to be fallen back on. If they're like, hey, I missed my link, I can't log in, you can say, hey, use password 123 and you can log in.
Right, only because like
email.
Right, the screen that's up now where it says there's an asterisk, that red asterisk that says, I almost want to say it's required to be able to complete the enrollment. But then if you look below, there's an email that, or a password that's going to be sent with the email.
Right, so this is editing a user. You don't have to set a password whenever you're editing a user. It's not required.
Okay.
But if, for example, if you cancel out of this page and then click on the new user link, then the password is required.
Right, and that's what throws me off because it's asking for a password, but then when you go to send that automatic email has the password, like the login information attached to it, correct?
That's correct, but the email is optional. It's not required. So this gives you the option if you want to send your own email out to users and say, "Hey, log in. This is what your password is going to be." Then it gives you that option. It allows you
Let's say
to
that
define what that password is going to be, because if you didn't have the option, then there would be no way to know what that temporary password was.
Correct. Let's say that I'm on this page and I don't want to put a password. But you see the red asterisk where it says password, can I just ignore that?
No, it won't let you add the user. It's going to require that you enter a password. On the page that we were on before with the edit user page, you don't have to set a password. But you can edit the user's information and not set a password. So the reason why that's there's a couple of reasons why you have that option. So if a user comes to you and I get requests to reset emails all the time, even though there's a reset password link on the login page. So if someone comes to you and say, "Hey, I can't log in and I don't have access to my email, can you reset my password?" Then you can go to the edit user page and enter a password, which will be a temporary password. You'll have to let them know what the password was. So whenever they log in, they'll use that password.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does it does differentiate when you differentiate the add user to the edit user. But let's say that I'm adding folks, I have to put the password and then I have to contact them to let them know what that is.
Well, no, if you're adding users manually,
that automatic email.
Yeah, the messages, the message tab up here. Enrique, if you don't mind, can you click on that message tab? Yeah, so this is going to send a new user email whenever you click save. So if you don't want that email to be sent out, all you have to do is uncheck that. And that's going to send, it will not send it now, but if you had that checked, it would send the new user email. And then the user would receive the information with their reset password link, assuming they had access to their email.
This is to reset.
No, this is going to send them their initial login information. So whenever it's going to send them the new user email.
Okay, so will that be sent with the password that I create?
No, it'll be a password link. It'll be a link, and they click on that.
Okay, and that's what's throwing me off because it asks for a password, so I can make up a password. And so my thought was like, how do I communicate that password to them? Or does that password even matter? Because when they log in initially, they create their own. It walks them through the process of creating their own.
Yeah, Enrique, click the use custom template button. And this is going to show what the format for the email is. So if you see, it says, as soon as you are ready to get your training started, please begin first setting your password by selecting the following link. And then there's a set password link. So, and this is only going to be valid for 7 days. So keep in mind, if a user waits until 8 days before they try to log into the system, that link's not going to work. And so then they might come to you and say, hey, this didn't work. And then you can say, well, try this password, or you can resend them their password email or new user email.
Right. Okay. I do understand this part of it. It's just the initial password. So I could punch in anything and if I send this attached to it, it doesn't make a difference, correct?
Correct. Yeah, you don't have to have any method for setting the password. It just wants
Okay.
something to be in that field.
Copy that. Okay. And then from there, you have the
What I-
option
what I
of going
found-
this route or not.
What
I'm
I
sorry,
found
say it
that
again?
If once
What I
I
found
do punch in that whatever password to be able to complete the new user, I could either opt to send them this link, which is walks them through the process, or email them saying, hey, this is your password. Go ahead and log on.
Yeah, exactly. You have two options. You can have the system send the email, or you can send an email yourself. The only thing
Copy
is,
that.
when you send the email yourself, you have to tell them what that temporary password is.
Correct. Correct. Okay, thank you. That answers my question.
You're welcome. And from the
I have
user
another
page,
question.
there's two different ways to email the users.
Okay.
So Enrique, if you see the reset password button right there, this is going to send one of two emails. It'll send a password reset email, or it will send the new user email. So you have two options of emails that can be sent. The send password reset email will be the same thing as if the user had clicked the forgot password link on the login page.
Okay.
And you have the ability to edit this email as well. And the tags that you see in the bottom are going to automatically be filled based upon the user data. So for example, the username and the email address, that will populate the form email.
Copy that. And so this would be, for instance, if you enrolled a new user and they were outside of those 7 days, so you put send new user again, or somebody that's logged on but hasn't been, forgot their email or their password, sorry, and then just resetting it, correct?
Right, yeah. And let me go back a little bit to the reason why I prefer using this method for sending the new user message. I know LADWP falls into this category where you do not have training where the user can automatically enroll into training on their own. So
Right.
I like to, in your situation, I would assign the training to the users and then send the new user email. That way, whenever they get to the LMS, it's not going to be blank.
And that's one of the things that I was struggling with, where I would add them, and then once they would log on and say, okay, I'm in, then I would start adding, the training.
Yeah,
Now
I would add the
realizing that I
users.
could have already loaded them up. Okay.
I would add the users, then assign the training, and then send the new user message.
Copy that.
I was able to make that, one of the curriculums, auto enroll people as soon as they got into the EMTC department. I don't know, it ultimately, for what you're doing, Eddie, I think you're adding people like, one at a time or something, because it did need all the other information as far as I think I did it based off of I changed something on here on so I think it's it's EMTC or electromechanic trainee, one of the two. But it basically creates a rule for the curriculum, right? Is what I did there. Dusty, I'm not sure if that's if I'm right where no. Think on so I did it where it would auto enroll people. So as soon as I put them into the system, it was auto enrolling them into that course. So even though the trainees did not get the email, I sent them an email telling them, hey, log on to martech.myabsorb. Your username is your email address and your password is password 123. And they already as soon as they logged on, they had this course, this curriculum already on there. So just something that it's useful. Depending on if you set the rules for it, but you do got to set it up beforehand.
Right.
So my other question regarding this, so now that we're on this screen, was how can I make it so that only I can, change what's in this curriculum?
You would,
Like, is this stuff down here? I know it has something to do with this stuff down here, but I'm not sure how.
well, the editor, if you're the sole editor, then you would define yourself as the editor.
Okay.
And then that way, this'll still show up for any, I'm not sure about the department editor, but with the individual editor, that would make you the sole editor for this training.
Okay.
And other administrators within LADWP will be able to assign the training. It's just you'll be the one who will, you'll be the only one who'll be able to edit this training.
Oh, that's
Okay,
cool.
got it.
That's cool.
Okay. So something like this, if I'm understanding this correctly, like, Jeff, Jeff, Mike, and Eddie are all going to be department administrators. They'll still be able to do this, right?
Yeah, I think that's what that says. Administrators who manage this department can edit this course if they have course visibility. So yes.
Okay, which that would be, obviously that would be fine. It would just be that I wouldn't want someone like from a different group to be able, or different training section to be able to edit my the curriculum here. So so it goes back to the whole, the department administrators and setting up the different permissions for different people and stuff, right?
Then I recommend.
I see Jeff turned off his microphone. I think Jeff was going to say something, huh?
I recommend include all sub-departments next to LADWP to is only or single department. So assuming that the administrators that can edit this are going to be limited to only the LADWP department. Otherwise, I would remove that setting altogether. And then just select your individual administrators. Because the way it was set before, every administrator in LADWP would be able to edit the curriculum or edit the training.
Okay. I think that's something that that you guys know as JSI, JTI would need to kind of figure out if you wanted to maintain that ability to modify those curriculums, right?
Right. This is something that I think Michael and Eddie are going to have to take a look at. As far as the hierarchy and the structure, to make sure that the admins are assigned to their appropriate group within the department, and JSTI administrators should have the overarching ability to add users, change curriculum in each of those other departments. And then when we assign new groups, people to like the UPCT, then there's an administrator for LADWP-UPCT, and that's all they're an administrator of. Right now, the way the administrators are set up, they can modify and change anything in each other department. Enrique, are you able to go back once you're done here? Can you go back to users? And then if we look at ourselves, all the administrators, I think maybe this would be a good screenshot to see, right?
Yeah, so if you create that filter, add a filter for administrators.
Right. So if we look at the column that says department, I think that's where the JSTI, where we have to take a look at the department, and we have to do what we did for the EMTC, and we got to start relabeling and assigning. LADWP should be reserved for only the JSTI administrators.
Yes.
LADWP-EMTC is Enrique.
Mhm.
And then we need to create another one, LADWP UPCT, LADWP Generation, LADWP ERS. Those are other groups that are within MarTech right now. And that way we can have some type of structure where people are in their own sandbox. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Dusty.
No, that sounds good. That makes sense to me.
Okay.
Because you did mention that you did want the JSI to have their own, the main top hierarchy. So that has to be something above everyone else.
Right. And that way, when we, you know, to give you an example, we have an employee, Brian Frazier. He was an instructor over the UPCT program, but he recently transferred and now he works for Enrique. We as the admins, hierarchy of the higher admins, we should be able to move him from UPCT and put him under Enrique, right?
Right.
But right now, as it stands, he's an admin equal to us.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah. So I think maybe we need to pencil some things down and start making some of those changes. And maybe we could do another, you know, Eddie, maybe Eddie can, and Michael can do another call with you, you know, as far as making.
Yeah, definitely.
I had one more question. You know, that just came up when my supervisors here are reviewing the different courses, you know, just to see, you know, what they're going to use for their classes and everything. And on one of them, you know, it's one of the test questions was like, you know, there was not a good answer. Is there a way to change those answers, or is that just set already?
Anytime you see anything that is questionable in one of the courses, send me an email and I'll check with our SME.
Okay.
And if there's a correction that needs to be made, we do it. We turn them around really quick.
Okay, that's what I told them. Like, I don't think, I don't think I even want to have that ability. So that's a easy enough way, and I think it's a good way to do it. So
Well,
yeah, just send me an email, and I really appreciate any feedback that people have about our courses. We want to make sure we're putting out good content.
Okay. I think I got all the things that I was wondering about, Jeff.
Okay.
Dusty, thank you very much.
Enrique, because I wanted to lighten your load. You know, the work we did and the work you did getting all this set up. I just hated to hear you having to input all the emails manually. So I'm glad we can get that part worked out.
No, it looks like that I'll be able to take care of that pretty easily here. You know, just that won't be a problem here. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of had an idea that that's what it was. I just wanted to see for sure.
So ultimately, it came down to it was that that little checkbox right here. Then that I needed to have changed. Then it looks like, right. And that's what we kind
you have to have all of your fields mapped, otherwise they won't import.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Makes enough sense.
Because I've done that before too. Whenever I was setting the system up, I did that. And so I knew pretty quickly what it was.
Okay, gotcha.
Michael.
All righty, gentlemen.
Thank you, Enrique.
Thank you.
I'm glad to help. Let me know if I can help with anything else. Of course.
Thanks everybody. And if you guys need help setting up the architecture for some of that stuff, I'd be happy to give a hand if you need it.
Okay.
Just to let you guys know, I think we're almost there on our approval for the expanding this to 2,000 users.
It's most important to get the hierarchy set up that we have this down. So as we start adding people.
Right.
Yeah, because otherwise you're going to end up reworking everything all over again and you want to get it right the first time. So let's put some thought into it now and get it straightened out.
I think this is going to be very beneficial to us as administrators with the JSTI because we'll be more aware of who we're enrolling, meaning like what group are you from, who do you represent, and then that way when we do open up these filters, we know exactly who they are and we get more familiar with what they're doing, what they're working on, what programs are directed towards that group. So
Right.
there's going to be good things coming out of this.
Right. And we also, when we're looking at utilization, we can identify exactly who we need to go to make sure that it's being utilized properly. So.
Right.
All right.
Cool.
Alrighty.
Well, let me know if I can help with anything else. As I said, this was recorded, so I'm going to post it and send it out to
Perfect.
everyone.
Perfect. Thank you, Dusty.
All right, thanks, Dusty. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Maybe
Y'all have a great
Thank you.
afternoon.
Eddie and Michael might want to make another meeting once we figure out, we can sketch up how we want to build our hierarchy. I mean, I think it's pretty simple. And then maybe have another Zoom meeting to go through the steps and make sure that we're capturing everything and getting it assigned properly.
Yeah.
When I go to the office, I'll pick up a whiteboard so I can put it here in my living room.
Perfect. Perfect. You'll be right at home.
Yeah. It looks
Right.
like Enrique has a pretty good grasp of what he's doing.
Yeah. Good job, Enrique.
Thank you. No, I didn't mess anything up, so that was a good thing.
Yeah, you got a handle on it. That's for sure.
All right. Y'all have a great afternoon.
All right,
Okay,
Dusty.
Dusty, take care.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.